All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Eagle Eye coming to you again with another episode of the Gooner Eagle Eye, specifically episode 19. Well, I'm back. If it wasn't clear from before with all my previews and reviews that I've been doing, apologies for the hiatus, I guess, that the Gooner Eagle Eye has taken. It's just midweek. There's lots of stuff tends to happen, whether it's games, whether it's reviews for other channels. Speaking of which, I want to take this opportunity to thank Liam for not only having me on his show on Tuesday, but also having me on his show today. Where I was able to give some of my thoughts in terms of the game and how I thought it would play out and how it actually played out. So if you're not already subscribed to him, go subscribe to him on Gooner News TV. You'll see my ugly mug on there and just giving some thoughts. Right. So here's my in-depth analysis of the game. Brilliant. We always tend to play well, quite frankly, when we feel like the pressure's off. But I don't really want to take away anything from the guys because I thought we were magical today. I thought Alexis and Sanchez were brilliant. Just they ran the show. Perez, brilliant. Gibbs, brilliant. He was brilliant. And I think everyone else just played their part, you know. Holding, I thought, should have a special mention, in spite of the fact that you could probably argue that the goal led because of his mistake. I won't take that away from him. At that stage, we were 4-0 up. And I feel like we were in control largely anyway. And, you know, I think the kid has a bright future. I really do. I honestly don't want to talk it up too much, but I think he has an absolutely bright future. Moving on with the game and how I thought, I mean, a lot of it, I mean, me personally, I had my work laptop set on the actual on the actual game, and then my PC I had set to the Ludogorets PSG game. So I was literally, I tell you, I was having a massive neckache by the time that game was finished. But wow, it looks like Ludogorets did the unthinkable. Arguably, they should have won. I thought PSG ran out of ideas towards the end of the game. And I actually thought they were going to end up winning it. Then PSG scored like a Di Maria popped up and scored a 92nd minute goal. Gave us all a little bit of a sweat. Ludogorets held out, and for their rewards, they've got themselves a Europa place now. Because I think if they lost that game, I'm pretty sure that Basel would have got it on goal difference. So it was important, not goal difference, on head-to-heads. So it was important for Ludogorets to hold out, and they did. So just fantastic, man. It's Arsenal, I tell you, they're so Jekyll and Hyde. And it makes us look Jekyll and Hyde as Arsenal fans. Because 1 minute we're cursing our luck and just thinking to ourselves, we're never going to be good enough for this thing. And then they pop up against West Ham, think, let's run these guys over, 5-1. Pop up against Basel, let's run these guys over, 4-1. Stoke, you guys are next, people. We owe you guys an ass whooping. So, but let me not get too ahead of myself. Let me give 2 marks out of 10. I thought Ospina was solid. Had one moment where he dropped the ball but recovered pretty quickly. I don't remember any. Oh no, he did make one. He did make, I think it was couple of good saves. I think in the first half, that kept us nicely in the game. So I would probably go ahead and give him a 7 out of 10. Didn't do anything wrong. I thought Gabs was pretty good in the role. He's clearly getting used to playing right back, and we need him to be because Jacobson certainly isn't up to the job. And I think Gabriel is doing really well, excelling, dare I say, in that role. And I would give him a 7 out of 10. I actually thought he did pretty well. Who was next? Who was next? Mr. Holding. I so badly want to give him an 8. I can't because of that mistake. This would have been an 8 without that mistake. I thought he did really, really well alongside Koscielny. And I tweeted it out earlier. No one was going to get hate for it. But I somehow felt it felt more secure having him there than it did Mustafi. At least I felt that way when I was watching the game. But I thought he played really, really well. Really well. I think we've got what a bargain this guy is. I mean, he's clearly been groomed to be a Koscielny replacement. And I tell you what, if he carries on in this vein of form, he's going to replace Koscielny before Koscielny is ready to be replaced. So, for me, brilliant performance, 7 out of 10. And that's only because of the mistake. Otherwise, he would have got an 8. As for Koscielny himself, I thought he did well, guided the youngster really well. Even was guided by Rob Holding at a couple of points. And really kind of molded his game around Rob and really kind of helped him through the game. It was a shame that the goal went in, but Basel's attack was looking pretty good, especially the guy that scored. I can't remember his name. Was a constant threat. Dealt with him really, really well for the majority of the game. I would go as far as to give Koscielny an 8. I actually thought he did pretty well. Kieran Gibbs. Kieran Gibbs was fantastic. Probably one of the best games I've ever seen Kieran Gibbs play. I'll go as far as to say that. And in turn has given Wenger quite a headache for Saturday. Because I actually thought Monreal played pretty well on Saturday, but Gibbs was a whole nother level today. I thought played really, really, really well. Linked up with Perez. He played on the opposite wing, by the way, really, really well. Top said on the review with Liam that we did just now that he felt was man of the match. And I could definitely see why he would say that. I won't go quite as far as to say that, but this is a high level 8. So we're talking at an 8.5. Yeah. I thought he was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Best out of the defenders. Yeah, no complaints with Gibbs at all. I'm almost tempted to give him 9, but I won't. In the middle, Coquelin. No, it wasn't Coquelin. It was Ramsey. Ramsey was Ramsey. To be fair to him, and you guys know I'm a big critic of Ramsey, improved as the game went on. He did. I'd be lying if he said he didn't. I thought he had a shaky start. I still think defensively, I think positional sense-wise, he's horrible. But I think he did grow into the game more and more and more, and did create a couple of chances. I won't shit on Ramsey. Believe it or not, I'll even give him a 7. I actually thought he was okay. I thought he did well in spells. Gosh, I'm so uncomfortable with a 7. I'll stick with it. I'll stick with a 7. Xhaka, I thought similarly was okay. I thought on the odd occasion was out of position himself, which was a little bit weird because you should know he's playing next to Ramsey. If there's one person who needs to be steady when Ramsey's playing, it should be his part. It should be the person that Ramsey's playing there with. So, but I don't have too many complaints with Xhaka. I thought ran the midfield in large parts. Obviously, clearly is not phased against playing against his brother. And I'll give him a 7. I thought he was decent. Which wing do we go? Let's be real. I'm going towards Iwobi. I thought Iwobi's getting closer to his best. Again, much like Ramsey, I thought started the game a little bit shakily, if I'm being honest. But I think grew into the game and made a couple of nice passes, and then got himself a goal, and a well-worked goal too. So I'll give Iwobi a 7 out of 10. I thought he did pretty well. Let's go to my man in the match. The man scored a hat-trick. And a lot of people will say, yeah, but those were tap-ins. I'm going to give you guys an education. If there is a highlight show, and you know there will be, this is YouTube we're talking about, do me a favor and just watch Perez's movement for every single one of them goals. Just his movement. His off-the-ball movement was fantastic. And I tell you what, between him, Alexis, and Ozil, they ran the show. They ran the show. And I'll tell you what, when I talked about Gibbs giving Wenger a headache, I think Perez has just given him a migraine, because much like the Monreal situation, I thought Alex Chamberlain did pretty well on Saturday. But you have to ask the question, does he get ahead of Theo? Possibly. You have to ask the question. He deserves a place on one of them wings. Clearly works very well with Alexis and gives us a little bit more of a dynamic look, because now we've got extra movement to completely bamboozle the defenders. And with Stoke, you're not going to out-muscle Stoke. So you're going to need something else, and movement could be it. And I think Perez this is why you bought him. You know? He gives us a new option, and he performed fantastically with his off-the-ball movement. And I thought some of the touches you showed were really nice. His awareness was fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. You know? Just in your mind, you just think to yourself, thank God we didn't get Jamie Vardy. And this is one of them times. Thank God we did not get Jamie Vardy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a player. And I'll tell you what, you guys have heard me say this before. I'll say it again. What a player this guy's going to turn out to be. What a player. 9.5 out of 10. I'm tempted to give him a 10. You know what? I'm an idiot. 10 out of 10. Fuck it. You could have done much more. 10 out of 10. Damn it. Got a hat trick. 10 out of 10. Ozil, I thought, again, was back to near his best. I thought his movement was very good. His passing was very good. His link-up play with Sanchez was just excellent. I have to give him an 8. 8 out of 10. And I thought Alexis was fantastic today in his usual false number 9 role. Didn't get on the score sheet, but I thought was his usual menacing best. Hit the crossbar with a free kick. All of us grimaced at the same time when that challenge came in. And I think all of us collectively screamed on Twitter, please take Alexis off. It clearly was loud enough for Wenger to hear, because shortly after then he took him off. But performed very, very well for the time he was on. I'd give him an 8 out of 10. And I know I normally do the subs before I get into the manager, but I'm going to listen. Yes, I have my criticism of the manager. You guys know this. But even I have to hold my hands up and say, you know what? He deserves a 10 out of 10. I can admit when I'm wrong. And this was one of those occasions where I was wrong. You know? I was very, very adamant that I wanted youngsters on, because I felt like it was more or less a dead tie. In fact, to tell you the truth, I was going to give you quick thoughts. I wasn't really going to do a proper review. But then, to be fair, and you have to give credit where credit's due here, I watched Arsenal Fan TV. I watched on the way back from work today, actually, and I watched in particular Shroops' comments. He was there with DT and Robbie. And he said, you know what he would do? He said that he would actually, he doesn't mind rotating a lot of the players as long as the main spine of the team is there. because you want them to be there just in case Ludogorets do the job. And fair play to Wenger, he kept our spine in place, minus Ospina, who usually starts Champions League games anyway. So he put in Ospina, he left Koscielny there, rested Mustafi. You know, he left what's his name? Xhaka there, took out Coquelin. Fair play. It's not like Xhaka's been playing a lot of games anyway. Played him and played Ramsey next to him. Don't like the idea of Ramsey playing, but whatever. Fine. And Ramsey played there. You know, up front, he left Alexis in because, let's face it, you try telling Alexis he's not going to play football and see how successful that's going to be. He left Ozil in there, which did surprise me. I thought if he played Alexis, he might leave Ozil on the bench. Nope, Ozil started that game too. So he left the spine in the team, but he brought in players like Gibbs. You know, he brought in players like Holding, who I specifically called for because I feel like he was ready. He was ready for a test like that. You know, he brought in a Wobie. He brought in a Perez, who is another one I called for. So, you know, he did the things that at least I asked for, but he also kept the spine of the team in there. And let's be honest here, it worked. It worked. And we made sure that we did our job so that Ludogorets can go and do theirs. So you have to give Wenger 10 out of 10. The subs were perfect in the end. I was a bit worried about Alexis, but he took him off. You know, I've seen Wenger in that situation try and soldier wrong. So he's clearly learning from his mistakes. And all in all, you can't criticize him. You know, just to talk about the subs quickly, I thought El Nene, he kind of came on and then we conceded, but I thought shortly after that we looked a bit more robust. Giroud came on as expected when he came on. I thought we lost a lot of our attacking movement and play because of it. And then Theo came on, and he was a decent outlet. I think he had an opportunity to score, but this is Theo we're talking about. So it is what it is. It was a good performance, and finally we're top of the league. Top of our own league, where we could potentially play a number of opponents. So I've actually got that list up on the screen at the moment. So potentially we can play either Benfica, we can play Bayern, which is the nightmare draw. We can play Leverkusen. We can play either Dortmund or Real Madrid. Or we can play Porto or Copenhagen, which, let's face it, is the ideal tie. And sorry, I forgot one more. Or we can play Juventus and Seville, which is another tie. I can't begin to describe to you how much I don't want that tie. So, I mean, let's face it, it's good. Sod's Law says that after all this crap, we'll end up with a Bayern or a Real Madrid or a Dortmund. But at least we've given ourselves a fighting chance at potentially, who knows, getting a Copenhagen or Porto and seeing where we can go. You know, it's about time that we reach a Champions League latter stage, that we reach a Champions League quarter final. That who knows, we reach a Champions League semi-final. It's 10 years ago since we did so. And who knows, you know, maybe it's our time to do so again. This is where we get carried away as Arsenal fans, because come Monday the 12th, when the draw is made, and we get Real Madrid, that'll put an end to that. That'll put an end to that. So let's just see. It's given us an opportunity. And more than that, from a psychological standpoint, just think about the confidence that's now given us. That, you know, now we're in the last stages. We could potentially be capable of so much. And to me, that's exciting, at least. That to me is very exciting. So onwards and upwards. And I suppose when you kind of look at today's performance and look at the people who were involved in that performance, it kind of just makes you think our contractual situations are so ridiculous. And why we let them drag on the way we do. It's not like we've not been here before where a player is in the last 18 months of his contract and has got all the power. Has got all the power. He can flirt with whoever he wants. And we're just sitting there like a bunch of punks waiting for these guys to kind of call their shots. But so there are reports that, I mean, for me, and I said this to my mate earlier this week, it doesn't sound like the papers really know what way that we're going there. So by that, I mean, I've so far seen papers that have said that, Ozil and Sanchez want 200 a week and we're reluctant to give them 200 a week. I've seen papers say that Ozil and Sanchez want up to 250 a week and we're only prepared to give them 200,000 a week. I've seen papers say that Sanchez is less likely to stay, but Ozil has almost agreed on a dotted line. Then the following week, I heard that Ozil now has changed his mind and suddenly he wants to go. I've heard stories that Sanchez is speaking to Pep. I've heard stories that Ozil and Sanchez, all they want is to have their pay match a Paul Pogba. You know, for me, and where do I feel like I stand on this situation? I personally think that we have to break the bank for this too. And I think that both of them will want 250 because at least whilst it's not the highest in the league, it at least shows them that we're willing to do what it takes to keep our best players. And I think it's a combination of factors. I think Wenger is a factor. I think pay is a factor, regardless of whether Wenger wants to think that or not. It is a factor. I think whether we can win trophies with them is a major factor. You know, another story I heard is that Sanchez is prepared to sign, but only until Arsenal put a release clause in his contract. I think there's a combination of probably pay, Wenger's future, and whether we can win something. I think that is paramount to both. And who knows, it could be a lot of the reason why you're seeing them play so well. So who knows, if we end up winning something major, listen, I'm not going to talk about the Champions League, but the league is a realistic target. And as we go into next week, for me, next week is our defining week. I'm weirdly more confident about the City game than I am the Everton game, but next week is our defining week. It's as simple as that. We must show that we're about this life, quite frankly, next week. That will be the title of one of my videos, by the way. Be prepared for that. We must show that we're about this life. Because if we don't, not only are we out of the title race, we face losing two of our best players in the same fashion that we've lost a Nazari, in the same fashion that we've lost a Cesc Fabregas, a Thierry Henry, a Robin Van Persie. How we've lost all of those players for the same type of reason. And for once, I just want us to be in a situation where they both agree, they see our ambition, they see our drive, and they both think, you know what? I'm in the right place for me. Because it's not like these players have not been at Real Madrid and Barcelona. You know, they've been at the most elite clubs in the world. In my opinion, regardless of whether you want to think they're a better team, for me, I think, yeah, they could go to Juventus, but let's face it, Juventus, they're in a one-team league. How much of an achievement is it really going to be to win the league every year? So then you have to say to yourself, all right, well, are you joining Juventus because you feel like they have a better chance winning the Champions League than us? I don't think so. So then the only other team you're talking about is City. And we're above them at the moment, albeit at the moment. So, And it's like, do you really want to live in Manchester over London? So it's just, all I hope is that they sign on a dotted line and Koscielny follows, that Santi's offered a damn contract. I don't know what we're doing when it comes to Santi. Should have offered him one a year ago. I don't know what we're doing. Offer these players the contracts that they deserve, and that hopefully we'll be in a position where where we'll be in a strong position. We'll be in a position where we're sending a message, which is what I was going to say. Sorry, brain fart moment. We'll be in a position where, we are sending the positive message that we can keep our very best players. And by sending that message, it'll be a weird effect, but you'll see all of a sudden the big players that we're chasing will take us seriously. Like I saw a story about us being linked with Benzema again. And I'm just thinking to myself, you probably didn't come to us 3 years ago because you probably thought, well, this team are serious. They always sell their biggest players. If you say, you know what, no, I'm not selling my biggest player. In fact, my biggest player are showing commitment because they are part of the team. And let's not get it twisted. Players come to other teams because they want to play with the big players. I've seen stories before where people have said that they've joined Arsenal because they wanted to play with Thierry Henry, or they wanted to play with Mesut Ozil, or they wanted to play with Alexis Sanchez. Don't get it twisted. Players join clubs for that reason. Which is why it was incredible to me that Jamie Vardy was offered an opportunity to join Arsenal to play with the likes of Mesut and Alexis Sanchez. And instead, he decided to play for Leicester, who, yes, are the champions, but are now fighting a relegation battle. I mean, how ridiculous do you sound? How ridiculous do you sound? And in the end, Soslow says we bought a better player anyway. Which I always suspected would be the case. You guys know this. I was never keen on the Vardy signing in the first place. But anyway, I digress. Let's see what happens. For me, we're in a strong position where potentially we might be able to do something. And onwards and upwards to the Stoke game and how I feel we can do there. And I'll save all that for the preview because I don't want to kind of take away from that. And for me, the only other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today was this whole Sexy scandal. I've had a couple of tweets about it. What do I think about it? For me, I think that this kind of stuff is what is poisoning our game. It is poisoning our game. Because it's just horrible. For me, and all that type of stuff, pedophilia generally, for me, is the worst crime. It's the worst crime. And the fact that people often get sentences that are just like, sometimes you get people that have 18-month sentences and, all right, they're put on a sex register. So, how on earth are they not damn near facing the death penalty for such a thing? For taking a child's innocence? I find all that incredible. And yes, of course, such a thing is now poisoning the game because, yes, people might say, oh, well, this happened years and years ago, but now we're starting to see the failings of various different clubs on the issue. And every day at the moment, you're waking up and hearing that a new player has made an accusation that this same crap used to happen to them. And I'm just praying that Arsenal don't have anything to do with this type of crap. This disgusting, disgusting crap. The most latest accusation is that this crap even happened to Laetitia. I mean, Matt Laetitia? What? Which basically means this could have potentially happened to anybody. Anybody back in their 70s or 80s. It's just disgusting. And if you're listening to this for the first time, or you're from abroad and you don't know what's happening, basically a number of former players have basically come out and they've said that their youth team coach or their youth managers basically used to sexually molest them or sexually take advantage of them. Just saying the words, it brings vomit up to my mouth. It really does. Just the idea of it, that somebody could be I don't even know what the words to use. Could be so disgusting that they would think to themselves, yeah, I'm going to look at a child and I'm going to go after that. And yet mothers are leaving their kids in their care of those people because they don't know this kind of crap is happening to them. Just disgusting. Anyway, that's me and my rabbiting done and over with. If you listen to me moan and groan for the first time, please do comment and on the video. Let me know your thoughts. So if you like what you hear, do hit that subscribe button. Next week I'll be doing episode 20, and I might do that with someone. Just saying, just keeping that out there. Might do that with someone. In the meantime, you'll probably next hear from me on Friday, probably hungover because I'm attending another Christmas party, but this one's going to be on Thursday. It's going to be with the team, and the team go hard when it comes to drinking, so I can imagine I will be hungover. Cocktail making is the order of the day, so you know there's going to be a lot of drinking. So yeah. All I can say is if I sound a little bit worse for wear, I apologize on Friday. But yeah, I'll be doing a preview of the Stoke game, as well as a review of the Stoke game, most likely on Sunday, because fight night's on Saturday, so I doubt I'll be able to do one on Saturday. But on Sunday for sure, I will do a review of the game. And that's pretty much it from me. Sorry, I know I've kind of done this stuff. A little bit tired, probably should have left this until tomorrow. So apologies for that. But anyway, that's me over and out. I'm out this bitch. Take care, people. Peace.